Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a little Spin It bonus content.
We're backtracking.
Backtracking, that's right. We just did an episode on Asking Alexandria's record, Reckless and Relentless. It was a big swing in Mixtober. It was a little bit of deathcore, a little bit of screaming, a lot of, darker themes.
A lot of screaming.
Yeah, a lot of screaming. And Connor said his two wolves were at war within him. One wolf that didn't like the album because of the screaming, and one wolf that did like the album because of the instrumentals and the melodic singing. And I don't know, that album didn't go the greatest for you. What'd you give Reckless and Relentless?
6, 5?
No, it was a 6. You gave it 6 warring wolves.
Yeah, I thought it was a 6.
Yes, but you liked the album so much, you, of your own volition, dove back into the discography.
Yeah, I sure did. I just went to their Spotify page and looked at their top songs and started playing those, and I really liked 2 of them that were from the album we're going to be talking about today, and so I recommended it as a backtrack.
Yeah, so in the time since the episode, I've listened to Asking Alexandria's self-titled album, the one that those songs you listened to were from.
Which came out as number 4.
Yes, it was.
It was their 4th album.
Yeah, it was their 4th.
In 2017.
Or 5th, depending on how you Ship of Theseus it, right? Because they had an album back before they were Asking Alexandria.
We don't need to get back on the Ship of Theseus. We've talked about that enough on this podcast.
Can we? Is it gone? Has it sailed? I don't know.
I don't think it exists anymore.
Well, that's Philosophy Connor's problem. Yeah, but we're talking about their Asking Alexandria album. I put it on the albums of the month. Obviously hasn't been a full month yet because I wanted to get this episode and the backtracks done close together, but I've listened to it a few times. I don't have a score for it yet, but boy, is it interesting. It is a very different kind of album in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. A departure from their typical sound. So, some quick little facts about the album, right? It came out on December 15th, 2017. So it's a couple years older, by a lot, than Reckless and Relentless, which itself came out way back in 2011. So 6 years have passed. Not only that, they are on a different label. Sumerian Records is where they were when this record came out, and it sounds pretty different. It's gentler. There's still some big arena rock type moments, but there's a lot less screaming to it and a lot more song structure.
Hence why I recommended it.
Yeah, right. I feel like a lot of the songs on Reckless and Relentless that relied on screaming kind of made screaming their gimmick. And when you take that away, well, you got to find new legs for these songs to stand on. And they definitely lean into that melodically with this big over-the-top stadium wall of sound. Kind of synthy and electronically produced, more hard rock than metalcore. You remember those moments on Reckless and Relentless that were like techno breakdowns?
Yeah.
On songs like, I think, Closure and a few others that had that do-do-do-do-do-do, like that moment of synth video game beepy boopy breakdown. We got peaks at it, but it's much more on display here. And I think that's probably in no small part because on their self-titled album, they did not work with their longtime producer, Joey Sturgis, who was on board for Reckless and Relentless and all the other albums prior to this. They worked with Matt Good and Jonathan Davis for the first time. Matt Good previously worked with bands like Memphis May Fire and Capture and Dead, Vampires Everywhere, Necrogoblicon from First to Last, which was a band he was actually in, and a lot more. And after Asking Alexandria, he would do work with Skrillex. So that should tell you a bit about the direction of this album. And then Jonathan Davis, he's a member of Korn. You know the band Korn.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, he's done, remix work for the likes of Steve Aoki and Rob Zombie and Hollywood Undead. He's also done some film scores. So, I can see in their producers that more electronic-leaning, sweeping nature of their sound. It gets some of its origin from these guys that they've brought into the fold. It's also, as much as it's like a departure for us, having jumped straight from Reckless and Relentless to this, it's kind of a return to form for the band because they made it just after Danny Worsnop came back. He dipped out for a few years, from January 2015 until October of 2016. And in that time, he only missed the band's record called The Black. But by 2016, he was like, this is something that I can embrace again, he said. I can rejoin this band fully, and my passion is with it. So it's cool to have him back.
That is cool.
Yeah. Critically, this album performed okay. I think it did about as well as Reckless and Relentless. Its Metacritic score is a 73 out of 100. It got 3 stars from The Guardian. They said, Asking Alexandria is an if you like this sort of thing band. And, it's generally a favorable review, but some publications said it has a stumble or two. Louder Sound said that this album wasn't a throwback or a sidestep. It's a whole new animal, and it's going to need a bigger zoo. And that caught my attention because I said, is it a wolf? Certainly if the screaming wolf is dead, the instrumental wolf is bigger, right? It needs more room to run around.
Oh, the instrumental wolf has dominated the pack. The screaming wolf is still alive.
Yeah, he's there.
It's still alive and around, but we definitely have a new alpha on this album.
Wow. Yeah, I believe that.
And he hungry.
I guess so. Yeah, walking right into the fire. The album in total got 4 singles. Into the Fire, Where Did It Go, Alone in a Room, and Vultures. Into the Fire was the biggest. It charted at number 13 on the mainstream rock charts, ended up on a few others. And yeah, my opinions on this album are still pretty fluid. Like, I'm still forming a lot of them. I've listened to the whole thing 3-ish times by now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All in all, though, are we trending better or worse than Reckless and Relentless?
That's such a tough question. Because for me, like, I've listened to a lot of albums like this. I've listened to a lot of bands that have taken directions like this, and they score pretty low. I'm thinking of, a band that I really liked when I was growing up is like Red. They make metal music, and they kind of took a little detour to do this electronica laced metal for a bit. I'm thinking of a band I discovered called Starset that did an electronic heavy album like this, and it doesn't usually work as well for me.
Why?
Because, yeah, I feel like when I listen to hard rock music, when I get the itch, because as I said in the episode even, it's not typically the first thing I reach for as a genre. And so when I do, I'm there for a specific reason. And I think when you saturate a lot of the like metalcore stuff with poppier elements or synth heavy, like electronica elements, I think it waters down what I'm there to hear.
That's interesting.
No, and that's just for me. This is a very personal preference because
Sure.
this album has a lot going on.
But have you considered it this way? What if this album isn't trying to satisfy your itch when you get that specific itch for heavy metal, but instead is trying to pique your interest when you're not necessarily in the mood for heavy metal, but also not necessarily in the mood for straight pop either. It's like it's trying to bring you in, like not necessarily like when you get that heavy metal itch, you're going heavy metal, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
But like you said, most of the time you're not getting that itch. And so I think this album's trying to get your attention a little bit when you're not necessarily itching, just to say, hey, don't forget I exist over here. If you're looking for something a little different, but yet not too far down the scratchy road.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think I like about it, because I definitely almost never want to go down the hard rock road.
Yeah.
I like my rock firm, but soft around the edges.
Sure.
I don't want it to be too soft. I do like soft rock, but I like my rock to be hard, but not pointy, not jagged.
Sure.
And I feel like when you get into like Reckless and Relentless, that screaming and everything, it's getting real jagged.
It is. Yeah, absolutely. Well, look at the difference between everything. I mean, the songs are grittier, dirtier, like louder, more vulgar even. Like the album cover is a porn star sitting in a dirty room with a broken TV, and the font is scratched and crawly. Mm-hmm. Look at the difference between this album here, where the album cover is very put together, geometric, like calculated. The font is clean and spaced across the top. Mm-hmm. The music is sleeker and definitely a lot smoother, polished. There's a lot of the roughness, the grittiness that kind of, in my opinion, makes Asking Alexandria what I knew it to be from that earlier album. Like, that's gone here.
Yeah. And so I think you got to be careful when you're scoring an album like this, not to put Asking Alexandria into a box.
Yeah. Or a polyhedron.
or a polyhedron in this case.
A pentagonal something.
You're allowed to put them in a polyhedron for this album. They did it to themselves.
Yeah, no doubt.
But you got to be careful not to put them in a box and then punish them for not fitting in it.
That's true. You're right.
Right, because you're used to them having a certain sound, and so you gotta be careful to, like, you almost have to approach this album as, like, this is the first time you're ever experiencing this band, and you don't have any pre-existing notions of what they should sound like.
Well, that's true. But I just think they've moved towards a genre that's a little bit more of a negative space in my preferences. I like their death metal screamy sound more than I like most things that sound like this. And so it's tough.
Interesting. I am definitely not that way.
Reasonable. That's definitely a way that we're different music listeners. And I feel the same way about Disturbed, right? They're the same sleeker, almost, at least the albums that you've showed me, are more this style.
What have I shown you?
Evolution?
Yeah. I did just literally today listen to Hello Darkness, My Old Friend by Disturbed.
Oh, Sound of Silence.
It's been a while since I've listened to that album, but I listened to that song. It came up on my shuffle playlist today.
But one thing I will say about Asking Alexandria is self-titled here is it is growing on me with every listen.
That's good.
It's kind of a lot to take in on the first listen. The more I get to it, the more I find favorite tracks. There were some early ones that grabbed my attention, like Rise Up and Vultures, Into the Fire.
Rise Up is good. Vultures is good. Into the Fire is great. Of course, I'm a big fan of Alone in a Room. That was what first attracted me to the album. But yeah, of course, it being the biggest song, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
Another one that was less of a well-known track that I really liked was I Am One.
Yeah, it almost gets into like a rock rap rhythm with as much as the drums go and the fast lyrics.
Yeah, well, and it's got a little bit more of the screaminess that I think you would like, but yet in still a singing way. It's like the screaming wolf and the sing-songy wolf came together.
Yes.
Like Power Ranger morphing style.
They're making wolf babies.
Well, all right, I went for a Power Rangers reference. You went for babies.
Well, I've never seen Power Rangers. I have seen babies, so I got to throw what I know.
You've seen clips where they like do the like sideways touch fists and
Sure.
Is that Power Rangers? I think that's Power Rangers.
Power Rangers or Captain Planet?
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't much of a Power Rangers person.
Wait, are the Wonder Twins?
Or Captain Planet.
People touch fists in a lot of things. You got to be more specific.
Yeah, they do. I don't listen. Let's just stick with babies. We both know babies.
Exactly. Yeah, overall, I think this album will continue to grow on me over the course of the month. Now, it's got some good melodies. The choruses have really big melodies that I really like. It's just a production thing for me, where, Reckless and Relentless is gritty and kind of hard as the lyrics were. I think Reckless and Relentless was also a lot more focused of an album. All of those songs, we said they kind of beat it to death and didn't find too many new ways to say things they said early on. Every song is kind of oh man, drugs in my life is hard, right? But at least that album kind of had a thematic through thread running through it. There was a lot more emotion. We talked about Someone Somewhere being a dedicated song to his grandpa and his lone supporter. Like, there were some really heartfelt moments on Reckless and Relentless that I think we've just kind of lost in favor of big, powerful, mass appeal hype music on Asking Alexandria. It's not missing all of them, but there's definitely fewer. It feels like Reckless and Relentless was a lot more intimate of a look into the band and their lives. I will say, though, there's nothing on this album that's like Morde at Dabo, where we said that's just a sore thumb that doesn't feel like it belongs here at all. Didn't notice anything like that on this album so far.
That's good. Now, did you prefer Into the Fire or the Into the Fire radio edit?
That just chops off another 27 seconds, mostly.
Yeah, I know.
I think I prefer the longer version. It's still not that long.
Yeah, me too.
Radio edits are kind of criminal.
They are.
I think for me, it's kind of a toss-up. I think Asking Alexandria will end up lower. It's so hard to tell. But, overall, I'm not upset that I started with the band's earlier sound, because that gives me a chance to see how they've grown and stuff into this. If I started with this album, realistically, I probably wouldn't have come back to Asking Alexandria.
Really?
Yeah, but I do think Reckless and Relentless did scratch enough of that itch. Yeah, it makes you curious. So it's cool that you came back, and I'm glad that I know this album now, too, because it makes me want to go to some of those in-between albums, too, between Reckless and Relentless and this. I don't know if I'm so interested in hearing The Black with a different lead vocalist, but I don't know. I just want to hear their sound evolve from that to this. So for me, it's not a backtrack. I think this will end up lower than Reckless and Relentless's 80.6.
Wow. Definitely not for me.
It might end up lower than 650, but we'll see. Time will tell. I'm going to have to, since it's you calling a backtrack and not me, I don't have quite a score for it yet. I just want to do my due diligence and listen to it enough before I commit. I don't want to be hasty in giving it a number.
Sure. For me, it's definitely a backtrack. I think this is a improvement. Probably a solid 7, if not a very low 8.
Oh, wow. That's almost a whole number scorer, too.
Yeah.
Do you think you'd listen to any of their later stuff after this? Or is this like where it stops?
Later stuff after this. Well, like I said, I listened through, before settling on this album, I listened to all their top 10 on their Spotify homepage.
Well, it looks like you got a good mix then of stuff from Stand Up and Scream and The Black and all of it.
Yeah.
Even a little bit from Where Do We Go From Here?
I was interested in Where Do We Go From Here, and I might go listen to it, but Alone in a Room and Into the Fire just stood out to me so much more than Dark Void or Psycho did.
Yeah.
And it seems like that seems to be the case for fans as well. So that's why I suggested Asking Alexandria as the backtrack.
Well, yeah.
Over Where Do We Go From Here?
I'm doing just a quick little click through on some of the stuff on Where Do We Go From Here, and it is intriguing. I think...
Where do I go from here?
No, not in the Barry Manilow way. Very different.
Oh, the menace, he's here.
I'm hearing some female lead vocals here. I'm hearing a lot more rowdy guitars. I think they've moved on from the synth-laden way, as all bands do, right? all the heavy metal bands try this. They try and go to an electronic era. They go through a little phase where they think that's the coolest thing. And maybe it was in 2017, right? That's kind of what music was doing at the time. But it feels a little dated now. It feels from that. It looks like they do even more of a return to form on their future albums. And I guess I'd really be interested to hear this 2023 record as well. Sounds like they're learning with every outing, you know?
Yeah, just clicking through it, it seems like Where Do We Go From Here has a good mix of both the style of Asking Alexandria and Reckless and Relentless. There's definitely more screaming. The screaming wolf and the instrumental and vocal wolf are all kind of in balance, probably.
Yeah.
If I had to guess on Where Do We Go From Here.
They can co-parent. It doesn't have to be one wolf or the other, right? The Reckless and Relentless was too much screaming wolf. Asking Alexandria was maybe too much singing wolf, at least in my book. Where do we go from here? The wolves can live in harmony.
It's the wolves. That's what the wolves are asking. Where do we go from here? Now we've had all these fights.
Yeah, that's a very interesting Backtrack. Very cool album to look into.
I thought so.
I wish I had a more satisfying, definitive answer for where it would score yet, but you'll have to check the spreadsheet. It'll probably be updated
by the time this comes out.
Soon after this Backtrack comes out. Very close to it.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're saying it's going to be lower, more than likely. And for me, it's higher, so.
If it keeps growing on me, anything goes, you know? But yeah, I don't know. I'd consider myself a skeptic on this particular record.
Fair enough.
Fair enough, indeed. Hey, good Backtracks. Normally what we do is we rank an album and we score it. We put it in a big old spreadsheet. We get a lot of context for it, do some trivia games. You can find that every week on this podcast. So if you're just stumbling across this short little episode for the first time, go wherever you get podcasts and listen to a full episode of Spin It. See if you like it. See if you agree with our thoughts about the other Asking Alexandria record.
Yeah.
Which I guess we didn't even say. It was episode number 224.
224. And go check out the record ranking list. There's over 800... almost 900.
Very, very close.
There is 900 if you take mine and add it to yours.
Well, that's true. But those are literally all duplicates.
Yeah. You're very close to 900 albums ranked. We should do something special when you hit 1,000.
I think we should. It'll come sometime next year.
We should celebrate in some way.
That'll be awesome.
You'll probably hit it before the end of this Spin It calendar year.
Oh, yeah, almost certainly. But, yeah, check out our website, www.spinitpod.com, for all that. We'll see you every Friday for a new episode. And until we do, keep
spinning.
Okay, if you could ask Alexandria any question, what would it be?
Is your favorite color teal?
Oh, like a yes or no question? What if it's like, there's two Alexandrias guarding a path. One only tells the truth and the other one tells lies. You gotta figure out which Alexandria you need to ask. That's what we kind of have here. One wolf on one side, one wolf on the other.
Oh, like a Roman thing. What were the names of the Roman wolves?
Well, no, the wolves had normal wolf names because they were wolves, but the babies were Romulus and Remus.
That's what it was.
Yeah, the wolves didn't have names. They were wolves.
Well, they probably had names. We just didn't know them.
Yeah, they were in wolf. Their names were Au and Gur. The parents of Romulus and Remus. Plus, this isn't about Rome. This is about Alexandria. Two totally different ancient cities. Rip to the library, though.
I was say all I know is one of them's gonna burn.
Well, both of them did, actually. Maybe they've got more in common than we think. You know what they say? When in Alexandria.
All roads lead to Alexandria. That's what they say.
Alexandria wasn't asked in a day.